Things were going great until a friend and coworker, Ken, convinced my wife and I to try a new recreational hobby. Pretty soon, I was seeing shapes and colors in everyday objects. I became fixated on using more and more. The more I used, the more expensive I got. Take this as a warning. If you're ADD, OCD, or both, do not get into 3D printing. Howdy guys, welcome back to Maverick's Arcade. My name is Chuck, and if you haven't seen me before, make sure to hit that like and subscribe on the channel so you can see me in this and future videos. In this video, we're going to clean up an old mess that I made in a previous video when I was trying to mount the video display controller, the HDMI controller, to the back of the main unit. However, before that, I need to discuss with you another problem I've been having, and that's to do with the math of YouTube. I need to figure out a better way to keep you guys engaged throughout the entire video and to watch the whole thing. So to help with this, I'll be trying to add some more segments into the video, things that maybe will kind of keep you guys grasped attention a little longer. And honestly, I don't mind if you just kind of play my videos in the background and let them play through. That would be helpful. But in any case, I want to try to entertain you guys better as well. So this is going to include videos and pictures of projects that's submitted from you, because I want to show off others in the community as well. Also, things that I've found online that are interest to me that might interest you as well. And I'm also, of course, as always, open to suggestions from you guys. You know, what is it that I can do to improve the math for my channel? And what kind of things do you guys watch that keeps you engaged? I mean, think about it for a little bit. What is it that keeps you watching a video longer? It can only be so charming because, I mean, it's me. So, in any case, my goal is the more viewers I can get, the more subscriptions I can get, the more chances I can get for sponsorships, the more sponsorships, the more money I get, and the more money I can get, which is right now zero, the more money I can get will actually help me pay for projects to give you guys videos on the things that you want to see. So again, please think about it. Put some comments below and some suggestions on what keeps you engaged with other people's videos. So back to our topic. So this is my first video on using my 3D printer for parts for the arcade. And again, as I mentioned, this is Ken. He's my friend and coworker from work, and this man loves 3D printing model toys and little gadgets and gizmos and giving them out to people just at random. He's an awesome guy. And it's funny to see like how happy someone gets when they get some unsolicited free toy. It's just really cute to watch, and everybody's always like, oh my gosh, yes, I'll take one, you know? But when I was originally considering getting a 3D printer, my first thought was like, am I really going to use it? Like, okay, I can picture maybe one or two things that I might actually enjoy a 3D printer for. However, I now warn you with knowledge, if you're OCD or ADD, do not get a 3D printer. I catch myself thinking about designing custom 3D models all the time now. Like, of course, this has trickled into the arcade realm, but like from my wife, she has Mexican heritage, and she needed some. We were running out of places to put pictures on the ofrenda. You know that thing from Coco where they remember all the pictures and little things on there. So I made her little stands that kind of hold the picture above another, so now we can fit more pictures. Even though we have no desire for any more picture frames this last couple of years, it's been enough. But you'll just catch yourself doing that all the time. Like you'll be like, I want to stick this on the wall somewhere. Oh, I could make a mount for that. I mean, these are the kinds of things that I've made already to make the life a little bit easier around the house and a little more organized. So if you're really particular about organizing, it's fun. It's very satisfying to see something you designed from scratch in physical form solving the problem you wanted it for, but it does get time consuming. So just be aware of that. So, Again, for those who are new to the channel, here's what we're fixing today. In the original setup, I used a piece of wood wrapped in electrical tape to make sure that it wouldn't short. And then I mounted it using double-sided Velcro. While that works, it's obviously not pretty. I want the inside of the arcade to also be safe enough so I can show others and kids like how everything works. So I don't want boards to be exposed or things, falling apart. I want everything to be nice, tidy, organized, and again, so kids can look at it safe. So before I show you what I created to solve the problem, let's do one of those new segment things. I'm going to show you one of your guys' arcade builds. So this comes to me from Jason Clemens. I worked with him trying to resolve an issue on his arcade quite a while ago. And if you guys are having problems, shoot me an email. Let me know what the issues are. Sometimes I can help, sometimes I can't. But, I'll be happy to try to help you guys solve the issues. That's the reason why we're all, here. So again, this is Jason Clemens' arcade machine. This is some of the artwork that he has. And obviously he's got the Tron cycles. Really nice high quality vinyl graphics. Again, kind of what I wanted to do. However, it just wasn't going to work on my Arcade1UP machine. But you can see he's got a great full-size control board with, most of the necessary controls for any of the games. And there are RGB controls as well. And then on the side art, he's got, you can see Wreck-It Ralph down there and all kinds of, nice graphics that brings the whole thing together. Now, he did one thing that I really wanted to do on my first arcade design. I just didn't have the carpentry skills to do it. And that is inside his arcade, he can put all of his controllers and stuff for various other machines in the bottom, which is very convenient, very organized. I'm a little bit jealous. I wish I would have known how to do it on my arcade, but, I just kind of made a big old box. Now, this is the wiring underneath. Definitely got a lot of complicated wires under here. Probably still cleaner than mine, though. I'm hoping to remedy my situation when I get to the wiring under the 1UP. But again, functional, he can see where everything is. He can easily test it. And one thing I love is his panel flips up. So he's able to do all the mounting or fixing of the wires and everything without having to take the whole panel out. Which again is something that I would have loved to know how to do when I built my arcade. But I did not. So mine, I have to basically completely take apart my arcade. The only thing I did think ahead for was to make those network jack connections in my arcade so I can remove the panel freely. But again, I love when the maintenance is considered when building a machine. So what do you guys think about his machine? Make sure to comment below, not only to let me know what you guys think of the machine, but also Jason's still on here. Let him know what he thinks. Give him some props and stuff. And if you have a machine that you'd like me to feature in one of my videos, go ahead and send me the information at mavericksarcade@gmail.com. And I'd love to get information from you as far as what got you into the emulations, what experience you have building the arcades, if any, that kind of information, so I can share it with my viewers and others like you as well. Okay, so back to our topic at hand. So initially, I tried to look to see if there was anything pre-made on Thingiverse. And if you don't know what Thingiverse is, it's a community where they give away source files and you can print your own 3D models of stuff that's already been made by others. And usually there's a pretty good amount of things you can find on there. Sometimes it may not be just right, so you'll customize it a little bit. But there's a lot of things on there and always definitely a good first place to check. So I found an awesome model on Thingiverse to hold the controller board, but nothing to mount the new case to the arcade back panel of the screen, or to handle the control buttons in the way I wanted them to be, handled. So here's what I came up with. First, I made a case to handle the button controller board, and then I printed a couple of buttons that I designed, and you can see the parts here, and this is how they all assemble. So I then designed a mount, and I printed it upside down so the little standoffs go upwards, and I did no support, so it doesn't put any extra supports in there. And then in the slicer software, I also configured a pause to occur just before the hex nuts would be covered up. I then, while it's paused, put the hex nuts in place and then continued printing. This allowed me to have captive hex nuts inside the model to ensure that the mounting screws stay connected to the model without possibly stripping or anything like that. After it's done printing, I used a small drill on the bottom side to make room for the head of the hex screw. That way it would be flush with the rest of the mount when assembled. The posts on the board I designed so that they'll give me a little bit of room between the back of the screen and the mounting plate. And this will allow me to route some display cables and also some room if the screws are slightly longer than the ones that I recommend. The plate I designed will also mount to the back of the monitor using the same holes that the original Game Board's cage was mounted on. Now for one of those quick segments from around the community. Remember the last video for LED Blinky? I had worked with Arzu from LED Blinky and Al from Pixelcade to add custom graphics to the Pixelcade device. Well, Al's been working on making some new custom graphics for those MAME output events. So make sure to check out his new graphics that he's created for Chase Headquarters, Gorf, Qbert, and a couple others. The link to his video is in the descriptions below. Alright, so as you can see here, this is the panel that was originally mounted to the back of this screen. Now I used these 4 mounting holes as my guides for the mount that I made right here. And as you can see, I already have 4 screws going through here that will mount to the screen. And then I have those captive hex nuts inside the print here at these locations. And I've designed this so that once you're done printing it, use a small drill bit just to core enough out so that the hex nut will lay flush inside. You'll see why in a minute. Another thing that I've done already is I moved this ground from the position over here to this side, so that way these wires will fit closer together. So the next step is for us to mount this into these 4 screw holes. So we move this up here, run that wire through, and we simply get to our mount points. See where that is. It looks like that's too far away. So we're gonna have to try another place for the ground. What we may need to do, actually that will work well. We'll just use this top screw. Alright, once it's fastened in there, we're going to go back to mounting this, which there should now be plenty of clearance to do. And the biggest part is going to be lining up the hole from this side. So we're going to come up here, just make sure we get this first one threaded, or at least begun. Alright, it's on there. Next we'll move to this one. On there. And we're not tightening them all the way yet because there has to be a little bit of flex for these to mount properly. Problem is here, I don't know if it's too far down or if I'm right on the money. all the way. In all honesty, I could do with just 2. It doesn't need to be all 4. But I'd like to see if I could get these in. Where's the measurement? Is it too low or is it too high? I think this one's starting to grip. Nope. Gotta check that 1 sec. Looks like it's too high. You know what? We're just going to go with two tight screws. Alright, so we have the back plane on here. Again, we're not going to use the bottom 2 screws because it's just barely misaligning. And, yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. But this panel now, this box, lines up so it will mount onto those pre-made holes like that. So these 4 holes will mix to there and then down here. And for that, we're again using 4 M2 20mm screws. Actually, we're using, correction, M2 25mm to get through this box and to the captive screws. So we're going to push these through in these 4 spots. And then we're going to mount them to those captive screws. There's one. You don't want to go too tight here or else you may end up risk damaging the plastic and pushing through right here. So once you feel it starting to get tight, just leave it be. And then you gotta give it the dad sign off. It ain't going anywhere. And then we have 2 M3 screws that are 20mm in length. I'm going to switch our bit here. And this holds the panel for the buttons right there. So again, grab these little screw things here. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, again, these are actually M2s. All of these top screws are M2s. These are M2 25. These are M2 20s. Again, we're going to put this right here. Get that first one in there. I stand corrected again. This is supposed to be the bigger ones. You just got to be careful not to break this plastic here. Which means I need to be careful. Basically, we're getting that thread started here. And we're going to get the thread started on the bottom. Again, we're being very careful not to break this thin plastic. And we want to make sure not to over tighten when we get close to the end. It will snap that PLA. Alright, so now that these are pre-threaded, we're going to go ahead and put this up here. Go ahead and just get that screwed in. That's the other reason for these standoffs, is because this way this screw can go farther and not risk. Okay, again, we're not going to go too tight. With this being hollow in the back, it's able to have the screw go all the way through and then keep going. And those standoffs allow the bolt to be, or the screw to be an extra bit of length without causing a problem. So now we get this bottom screw in here. Again, we're utilizing captive hex nuts. We slow down near the end. And now, as you can see, it's much cleaner. We have our interfaces on this side and the power on this side, which we'll be able to mount into place to make sure they don't fall out. And then we have our buttons easily located right on the inside, and we can push them all. So there we go. Alright, so again, if you guys like this video, do as always, please hit like on this video. Make sure to comment below. Let me know what you think. If you've found any other awesome 3D things that you can do with your Arcade1UP or other full-size arcade machine, please share it with me in the comments below. Also, if you run into some issues and need some help, make sure to email me at my Gmail account, and I will do what I can to assist. And as always, thank you for watching.